Welcome to the House of Hammer, built by the nation for the nation. Welcome to Radio Nation News today, day 2 of the free agency frenzy. Those coming on in, y'all know the routine. Those coming in here for the first time, do not let it be your last. Break them thumbs, hammer that sub, smash the bell to stay up to date with all your Raiders news, rumors, updates, live streams, and reactions. Do have a guest backstage. Had him on here yesterday. We had him on here last week. Franchise Sports Media's own Joe Rigo. Let me bring him up. Yep. What's good, bro?
What's happening? What's up, Raider Nation? How you feeling today?
So there's a lot of moves that are still going on right now. I'm going back and forth. I do have NFL Network above me. They have a quarterback, sort of. They're expected to sign Sam Darnold to a one-year contract worth $10 million. Running back Aaron Jones is now agreeing to terms on a one-year, $7 million deal with the Vikings. He was released yesterday by the Green Bay Packers after the meeting, because nothing's official yet, but the meeting with Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs is set to go to the Green Bay Packers. There's other news going on right now. Let me look through this. Like I said, I'm going back and forth because ESPN seems to have a lot of things that are breaking a little bit quicker than the NFL Network right now. So we're going to go through some of this stuff. And you guys see the rundown screen. I actually might need to adjust that because I see we have a shout out to Hug D's, member for 2 months, later a meek, hugs and stuff. Hammer, what's good, bro? Yeah, we're going to get into that momentarily. Let's go through some of these other deals that are going on right now. This one just broke about 9 minutes ago. The Commanders are signing long snapper Tyler Rutt. Let's see. Was with Washington's new special teams coach Larry Izzo in Seattle for 4 years. Didn't snap in 2022. Was with Baltimore last year. All-pro kick returner Keyshawn Nixon is returning to the Packers. I think that was a guy that you had mentioned to us a couple of times recently.
That's that. Honestly, I got the call last night from Key. He called me and was like, "Bro, I'm staying," because I go back like 8-9 years with Keyshawn. Like he used to train with my son,
Right.
so me and Key, like that's family. So I know he's excited. I will say this: he still has a house here in Vegas. He loves the Raiders. He wish it could have worked out better, but I mean, they decided to go a different direction.
It's a business at the end of the day, like we always say. Shout out to Space Beast on the 199. Are we trading for Snead? I'm getting corner vibes. I'm hoping not, because if we do, it's going to end up being a long-term deal that has to be done right on the spot. And we see what the franchise tag is for him right now. It's at $19.8 million. You're probably going to be looking at him, and I've talked about this in regards to what he was looking to get. You would see him getting a contract roughly around a ballpark of about 4 years, anywhere between $75 to $85 million. I don't think he's a guy that's on our radar, but we'll see, man. There's still a lot of moving and shaking. The Commanders are signing former Raiders quarterback Marcus Mariota to a 1-year, $6 million contract. Let me get back to ESPN with some of the stuff that they have. I think something else just broke like seconds ago. Yeah. Bills are adding linebacker Nicholas Morrow. Has started double-digit games each of his last 3 seasons with the Raiders, the Bears, and the Eagles. Adds an experienced player to the Bills' linebacking core. That just broke. And another one. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave ESPN up in front of me right now because it's coming in like incredibly quickly. Panthers agree to terms with defensive tackle Ashawn Robinson. This was a guy that a lot of you had talked about as we approached trade deadline, and this was a guy that I said is more of a rotational piece. He definitely wasn't a starter. He took over when Leonard Williams was traded to Seattle. He was not a guy that I felt would fit this defense, regardless of him having a previous relationship with Patrick Graham. But he moves on, and he is now going to be a Panther. You see the back and forth, the trade yesterday between the Panthers and the New York Football Giants. Brian Burns went to New York. He'll be on the opposite end, the opposite side of the line with Kayvon Thibodeau. Not a bad deal. And in other New York Football Giants news, the Giants are set to sign former Raiders right tackle Jermaine Illuminor. Carmen Basillo was hired as the offensive line coach. I guess familiarity is going to work out for them. I had people reach out to me yesterday, Giant fans. How do you feel about this? Well, obviously I'm not a Giants fan, but I said good luck with all the false starts. Wish you all the best. Let's see if we got anything else that's popped up. Nothing within the last few seconds, thank God. Eagles signing wide receiver Devontae Parker to a 1 year contract. Pass rusher Josh Uche, he's returning to the Patriots. Colts and Kenny Moore agreed to a 3 year, $30 million contract. I know this was a guy, and shout out to Bourbon because he hit me up today and he was bringing Kenny Moore to my attention, as opposed to Fuller. But yeah, Kenny Moore is now off the market. 3 year, $30 million deal with the Colts.
That is the highest contract for a slot corner in NFL history.
That's insane.
But he's arguably the best
I
playing
feel
the slot.
I feel bad because I kind of stepped out of what we normally do. I stepped out of the routine a little bit. Let me do a quick roll call for everybody that's in here right now. Much love to. We already have, I think it's over 200 in chat. I really can't see it. My eyes, these contacts, I need to change them out. Huey P, General Manager Waltz in the building. Yvette Salute, Bourbon, my guy, what's good? Martin, Eric, Raiders, Haters, Hunter, Eric Channel. That is probably the longest name I've seen in here. Christopher Raiders, Antoine, Pride and Purpose, Herman Munster, Skyler, Desert, Samuel, Antoine Wade, Dyson, Dan, Brave, Franklin, Tim Chubb, Hug D's, of course. The dopest name in here, Johnny Kicknuts. What's good, bro? John B, Rated Deb Salute. Feeling good. Waiting to see what today is going to bring us. You and me both. Fitzy, what's good? Eric, Richard. I think. No, we still have people in here. Scott Tucker, Razor Collectibles, Raider Sprayer. I feel bad. Shout out to John Cena. Kuma Kong, Scott Tucker, Lumpy. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Gerardo, my 2 cents, OG, Leaky, Randy, Van City. Okay, we got through everybody. I appreciate all y'all being in here right now. Raiders expected to cut Jimmy G tomorrow. Yes, we're all hoping that. We hope that it's now and not June, July 1st, whatever. But yeah, bye-bye to Mr. G Hub himself. You will not be missed because I have more reasons to hate you now that I thought about this more overnight as it pertained to Josh Jacobs. 3 year, $72 million contract for a piece of shit that led the league in interceptions to the point that he got benched for Aiden O'Connell. Money that could have been used the right way for our running back, Josh Jacobs. JJ, I already miss you, bro. I wish you the best. Just when you're playing us, it's going to be a different story. But yeah, once a Raider, always a Raider.
Talk about Jimmy G string like that. I mean, come on, like he got it's not his fault.
This all falls on
money.
This falls on Ziegler and McDaniels. They're the ones that played the role in this shit. But it is what it is. I'm not going to go on a tangent about it. I said what I said. That's it. It is what it is. Shout out to Pablo. Kind of quiet on the Raiders side right now. It is, but there is some news that did break. We do have two former Raiders that are no longer with us. Trent Sieg has gone to the Dallas Cowboys, and I believe, if I remember correctly, because looking at this morning, this is the very first move that Dallas has made this entire free agency period. And the Pitbull puppy himself, Amik Robertson, is going to the Detroit Lions on a 2-year deal. I believe $4.5 million guaranteed.
Man, good for Tiny Lope.
Look, everybody knows my feelings about Amik, so yeah.
I don't know him.
Just for me, he's inconsistent. That was it. He's inconsistent. That's always been my knock on him, and I'm not gonna shy away from that shit. He was very inconsistent. He had his moments where he shined, but 9 times out of 10, he was inconsistent. So
look, I appreciate someone that's 5'8" that plays like he's 6'3", and I say 5'8" loosely because I'm 5'6", so he's barely taller than me. But he's always been a guy that he let his nuts hang. He left it all on the field. I respect that. He was inconsistent, but I mean, consistency comes with repetitions. And how many times was he pulled? I've watched been at practice where he's not getting the reps that he needed at times. That's not all his fault. I think Detroit's a good spot for them. I mean, again, what that tells me is between him and trading for the Buccaneers cornerback as well, they're not in it for Snead. at all. They're trading a second round pick and then overpaying. I don't think they're going to be in the Jarius Sneed business. And I'll be honest with you, the Raiders aren't either. Why on earth would Kansas City trade their best corner
to the division.
to their biggest rival?
Yeah.
Like that makes no sense. They don't do business with each other. So if he was a regular unrestricted free agent, 100% I could see it. But the fact that he's franchised and there's going to be some type of compensation going back Kansas City's way, and then they're going to have to face him at least twice a year, no, not happening.
Salute to Leaky. Bro, I love you, but that's false. 5 years he's been in the league, he's only missed 7 games. Look at Saquon Barkley, how many games he's missed, and the type of money he just got by the Philadelphia Eagles. That's totally false. We love a Meek, but we don't need a Meek. Frank White said the Raiders signing Devin White and Calvin Ridley tomorrow. That's cap. Calvin Ridley is definitely not coming to the Raiders, and if he does, I definitely will have a lot to say about that. That is just
It's
not the right move at all.
it's not happening. He's between the Patriots and Jaguars. It's between those two teams. I see someone in the chat said Jair Alexander. He's not going anywhere. The cap hit is too high, and they're not trading him with their new D coordinator. I can tell you that right now.
Shout out to
So
Chris for Raiders on the $2 super. Much appreciated, my guy. What do you think we do in the corner? Look, Kendall Fuller's still out there. He's a guy that I have talked about that has been on my radar for quite some time. And again, I'm looking at it from a cap standpoint, a money standpoint, where, again, some of these top tier corners are going to look for excess amount of money, like roughly around an average annual of $19-20 million a year. Again, we know what the franchise tag is for the corners at 19.8. Tag period is over, so that doesn't really matter. But as it stands right now, you're looking at a market value for Kendall Fuller roughly around $14-15 million. You signed me up for maybe a 2, maybe a 3-year deal. And again, the languages in these contracts the last few years are a hell of a lot more different than they were previously. You can get out of that contract within year 1 or even year 2. So you give me Kendall Fuller on a $14-15 million average annual, then I'm here for it. We'll look through. I'll go through the list of the remaining free agents and see where we can go from here. We'll see, man. We will see.
I
Let's.
like Fuller. I'll say this. I think it's one free agent corner, and I think you're going to see at least 2 in the draft. This is a deep draft.
Yeah.
You got the both dudes from Bama. Kool-Aid's not going to come up and hit, but he can cover. Um, you got Bo Melton from Rutgers, he may be my favorite corner in the
You give me
draft.
that. You give me that kid, Max Melton out of Rutgers, like
Yeah, Max Melton,
fucking
not Bo Melton. That's his
fast
brother,
ass
but Max
kid
Melton.
too. Like bring the Jersey boy to Vegas, please, because I've had him on my mock drafts a lot. Like I would not mind grabbing him, and at the pause if necessary. At the same time, something that we are going to talk about momentarily is a running back committee as it pertains to us right now. But let me respond to this real quickly. Shout out to Van City, our neighbor from the north. I'm kind of wondering if Telesco is working on a trade to New Orleans for Marshawn Lattimore, including Renfro in a package. Have you heard anything about that?
No, but that's interesting. That's really interesting because I got a text earlier. I think like Diana Rossini and a bunch of other people that's essentially said that Jimmy's G's going to be released tomorrow, and my response to the person was, "What about Renfro?" And I haven't gotten anything back. So, but it is well known that he's not going to be there. I think they're trying to find a place for him. So I can see something like that. But I mean, you got to look at New Orleans salary cap situation and the hit they would have to take with the Lattimore deal, and then adding Renfro as well. The Raiders still haven't restructured any contracts, so
Right.
they still can get another $40 or $50 million underneath the cap after they were including the release of Jimmy G and getting rid of Renfro. So that's interesting. I definitely, I mean, that's something I'd be open to. But Lattimore, I believe he's been injured the last couple of years, so there's the injury history. Is that something you're gonna want to take on his contract with that injury history? That's
Not,
something you got
not
to weigh.
me, not me, because you guys know how I feel. Like availability is your best ability, so there's no way I would even want to take that flyer. And guys, I know a couple of people are in the chat asking about Big Cat Leonard Williams. He actually re-signed with the Seattle Seahawks earlier today. Again, nothing's official till tomorrow, but he is set to re-sign with the Seattle Seahawks. So that's out the window. And look, me and Joe have had two different opinions as it pertains to bolstering up the defensive interior for us and spending that type of money on two free agent defensive tackles. And I'm against it. He's for it. But again,
But
yes, Big
but
Cat
look
is
at
gone.
when I bring it up, the look that you give when I said it, you if I said you bring those two big guys in the middle, you were like, ooh, like
But
yeah,
for me, I'm like, I'm not going to spend a ridiculous amount of money on two interiors. Like, I see what it does and how it could deplete the rest of the team. Like, and that's my fear. And look, I was looking at one of these videos earlier today as it pertained to Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby. Like, look, you're gonna have a guy that is great on the run. He's a great, productive interior defensive lineman that can make a lot of plays when it comes to the run and putting pressure on the quarterback. And look, this is going to take away a lot of double teams on Max. Max was double teamed, I think, the eighth most in the league for a defensive end last year. This is going to open up a lot of possibilities. And again, we've talked about Tyree Wilson. I do believe Tyree is going to come into his own his sophomore year. And you guys are going to be in for a surprise of what this defensive line can do. Now, yes, we still need a corner. Yes, I still believe that I think we might need to add a linebacker to this depth chart as well. As it
two
goes with the offensive line, center to left, we're good. We need a very strong right guard, though. We absolutely need a very strong right guard because that's where a lot of the pressure happens is on the interior. Like, look at Chris Jones and what he's done to our offensive line and how he's bullied us time in, time out. We need to get a solidified right guard to fill that spot, whether we get one within the next couple hours via free agency or we get one of these top tier offensive guards going into the draft. But that needs to be addressed and be addressed quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm gonna put. I think a running back is needed too. And when I see Joe Mixon getting traded for a seventh round pick, that may I would have given up at least a minimum six for him.
And
But that's
Mixon
me.
Mixon went to Houston, right?
Yeah. Now I know there was
Shucks.
the incident prior to him starting his freshman year in college, but since then he's been a model citizen. You haven't heard anything out of him, and I think he was underutilized in Cincinnati. So if you look at his senior year or his last year in college, there's two running backs that ran for 100 yards or caught for 100 yards, and that was him and Christian McCaffrey. Both
Right.
came out in the same class. So I don't think Cincinnati utilized him in the right way. I think he would have been a great fit here in Vegas. But guard wise, I agree. I last night it was late, and I tweeted out basically a list of corners. I'll pull it up right now. Corners, tackles, and people of that nature. A couple of names that stood out to me for the right side, and I'm actually focused on the tackle spot. Again, I brought him up yesterday. Yosh Neiman. He can play either tackle. You can even sign him as a swing tackle
Yep.
because he can play both sides. But Jonah Williams from Cincinnati, he's a guy that first round pick can play the right side. Wasn't happy there. He's available. Um, the guy's a big dude. I mean, that could solidify that right side of the line. He's not a bad player at all.
It's
You
fu-
probably could get him.
it's funny that you mention him because I did mention him as being a free agent when all the talk and all the tweets were being thrown out there by Jermaine Illuminor, and like a lot of signs were going towards the Cincinnati Bengals, and I totally forgot about him being a free agent. It wouldn't be a bad idea to talk to him, see what the possibilities are. That's for damn sure.
I mean, this is the time you do it. If you're gonna have those conversations, and we don't know, officially, we hear rumblings behind the scenes of who has had some type of conversations, but that could be agent speak or whatever. But that'd be a guy I'd be highly interested in. I actually think the guard market. I think you get your guard in the draft. I think this is where you get your guard and you rock with them, and because you can't have in this case you can't have veterans at every position. You're going to have to rock with some young guys because you got to look at the contracts,
Right.
and yeah, they could have up to 70 or whatever $1 million that's available, but do you want to spend all that money just to have, or you kind of want to keep some because you won't have a situations like Josh Jacobs where you can re-sign into a bigger deal, or let's say there's somebody else. Let's say Trayvon Merrick has a phenomenal year, and he's in year 3 or 4 of his deals coming up on it. You're
Yeah.
going to want to lock him in. Diablo's another one. Guys that you may want to lock in long term. Now's the time because you have this money. You could do that, and then you could carry that over to next year where the salary cap's going to jump even more. And I'm focused on this group of free agents. I'm not even looking forward to next
Next
year's.
year, yeah.
But there's probably going to be guys in that group that you're going to want to reach out to as well. So, guys that can make an impact for you. So I think at the end of the day, they're being prudent with their money. Look, they're going to spend. They're not being cheap. I don't
No.
even want to say they're being frugal. They're just being smart.
Yeah.
They're not just because it's like if you have a hot chick, do you want to blow your wad off a couple of strokes? Do you want to make that last and make sure everything is cool? That's what you got to do with the free agency right
Somebody
here.
clip that, please.
Uh,
Salute, salute to Clint Westwood in the chat. He said Bo Nix is the only QB in this draft that's ready to start right away. Look,
no. Oh, hell no.
you guys know how I feel about Bo Nix, and he's definitely a guy that's on my list right now as it pertains to this draft class. If we're not able to get Jaden Daniels, if God forbid we're not able to get JJ McCarthy, my next option would be Bo Nix and then Michael Penix. So we
I,
shall see.
I disagree. I think the only quarterback in this class ready to start right now is Caleb Williams. And I think, look, if Drake May slides a little bit, which could happen, you don't know. He's a guy. If he sits for a year or two, he could be good. I think he's a guy that has to sit. The more I watch him, and I watch him, the more I think that if he has a Jordan Love experience where he could sit for a year or 2 or 3, now you could be cooking with fish grease, as my guy Q likes to say. I don't think Bo Nix is that guy. Again, if you're not going to get a quarterback, if you're not going to get McCarthy as the last choice out of your group, and Penix is going to go top 18, top 19, I believe. I think you move back, accumulate picks, and then somewhere in 2 or 3, you take Jordan Travis. I think he's a guy again. We said it last week, Hammer. We both agreed that he would have given Jaden Daniels a run for the money for the Heisman. Florida
Absolutely.
State would have been in the college football playoff. The guy's a difference maker. He can make all the throws. He's mobile. You just got to get that leg right. If you do that, and that's where I think having a Gardner Minshew and even AOC there, it puts him in that role where, hey, take your time getting ready. We're going to take this year to make sure you're healthy. You know the offense. So when next year you come in and compete with these two, and hopefully you win the job.
That would be very, very interesting. Some other news right now, which broke a couple of minutes ago. Looks like the Colts are not messing around as it pertains to bolstering their defense. They are among several teams right now that have talked with Vikings defensive end Danielle Hunter. They've had talks with him, 4-time Pro Bowler, 87.5 career sacks. Too early to predict where he winds up, but the Colts are another team right now that are showing interest. There hasn't been anything else. Let me look back at the chat real quick. Scott Tucker, thank you for the news. The Falcons inked Darnell Mooney to a 3-year, $39 million deal. We do have a super chat. Shout out to Lumpy Shark Doot 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 on the $5. Can we grab Noah Fant on the cheap to pair with Mayer? No, Noah Fant signed with... He signed with somebody. I saw it yesterday. Give me 1 second. I want to say it was Seattle. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Yes, he agreed to a new deal with the Seahawks. So, yeah, he's off the market right now. It was another one that I saw that signed for like a cheap deal in Mike Gesicki, and I was just like, why wouldn't we have gone for somebody like him? That dude is a beast. Like,
Because okay, so people were complaining about Hooper not blocking.
yeah,
No different here. Jordan Elliott 2 years, 10 million to the 49ers defensive tackle from the Browns.
Damn.
So
This is just, yeah, this stuff is signed, re-signed, Bengals, injury bug. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything with you guys. Or what? No thanks on Caleb. Dude is a red flag. You guys heard my sentiments on that a couple of weeks ago.
okay, so why? Because he showed his emotions on the sideline.
For me, it's not just the emotions on the sideline. It's all the other stuff that the Athletic came out with in regards to like him and his father. His father's pretty much looking like the new LeVar Ball. Like, oh, he wants to have ownership. Caleb should
That's
have
not
ownership in the team. He wants to alter this, that, and the third. He wants to be able to get out of that contract if the team's not winning. Like, if
so
you could bring
okay.
me clarity to this, then be
I
my
can.
guest.
So as far as I know, and I know people on that team that know Caleb well, and people that are from Vegas can read in between lines. I've never heard his dad ever mention ownership of a team. I know that came out from like some Dove Kleiman tweet, some aggregator tweet. That was completely false. I think that's been cleared up with teams. Um, Getting on only playing for a winner. I mean, what? Why is it okay for Archie Manning to demand that Eli Manning not play for the Chargers, and he's not going to go there, or John Elway and his family say he's not going to play for the Colts, but it's not okay for Caleb Williams to say, I really don't want to, I want to win. I really, like, if we're not winning, like, I'm going to ask to be traded. Like, I'm giving you that. I want to win.
Maybe the NFL should do something as it pertains to the draft. Do something similar to that of the NBA and do a draft lottery instead. Because realistically, it kind of is unfair. And we've seen it with some of these teams, but a lot of the teams have come up tremendously within like the last 10, 15 years. A perfect example is the Cleveland Browns. Like that was a team almost every single year. They were practically guaranteed to have the first overall pick. Like I think it would definitely benefit the league a hell of a lot more if if they switched it and it didn't have to be the worst team in the league, but they would actually do like a legit draft lottery for those top picks. Like it's kind of annoying. It really is. Like I kind of understand that standpoint. Like nobody wants to lose. Like I had that mentality all the time. People know like if I do lose, I'm pissed. Especially if it's under circumstances that could have been completely different. Like it is what it is. Shout out to Silver Black Nation 24. Hammer, my brother, happy new football year. Best birthday gift the nation to get us. Hold on. To get us is a best of defensive tackles, Raiders, F the Chiefs, Donkeys, and lame-ass Chargers. Salute to you, bro. 23 months a member. Guys, if you want to become a member to the channel, it's pinned to the top. Best way to show your support. We have the monthly giveaways. I was actually thinking about the monthly giveaways today. I might start doing something a little bit different with the giveaways. I told you guys, like, we could do gift cards. We could do Raider Nation News Today merch. We could do even like a bottle of Woodson whiskey as long as you're over 21. But I'm thinking about throwing something else in there as one of the gifts. Why not some just straight up Raiders merch? Like I've had people that will comment when I put post up and yo, that hat is dope. Where'd you get that? Da 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 da. I'm thinking maybe like doing like hats, maybe some t-shirts or whatever. We hit milestones. I do have one in mind right now that I want to do a very special giveaway, maybe even a jersey when we hit 10K. So stay tuned for that. But I'm thinking throwing in some like legit Raiders stuff, like hats, shirts, whatever. So you guys want to be a part of it, click the link at the top. And like I said, if you're a member, it doesn't matter what tier, we do monthly giveaways here. Your name is thrown in the wheel. If it falls on you, you win. Did you see Danielle Hunter wants 30 million? What team do you see pay that? Well, I just talked about Hunter. The Colts are interested. I didn't see any other teams, but there are reportedly Houston's interested.
Houston. And here's the thing about Hunter. He's still in his 20s. I think he's 28, and he has
Yes.
like he feels like he's been in the league forever. So Houston with him and D'Amico Ryans, and you look at they just lost Goddard.
Yep.
You know, so that could be an easy fit there. Washington makes a lot of sense. You know, you look at that D line.
They lost two of their main guys via trade this past season. That makes a lot of sense.
And they have a ton of money to spend too.
Yeah.
So I mean, Dan Quinn could get, and he loves those war daddies like that.
Yeah.
So he gets somebody like that. That's different. So, but 30 million a year. I mean, like he wants to get paid. I've never seen him as a fit here in Vegas. I'm gonna be honest, just because of that. You're not gonna pay him more than you're gonna pay Max Crosby. At least playing opposite side of it.
Yeah, no.
Opposite end.
That's
And
another
you
one
can,
where it's absolutely insane to do. Absolutely insane to do.
absolutely. Um, I would say as well too, because you have to Tyree Wilson. So when you draft somebody high, you're not going to spend 30 million on another cat that plays the same position. And I want to dispel this rumor too. There's no way in hell Tyree Wilson is going to be kicked inside to a tackle position. It's not easy to add weight. And it's about adding 20, 25, 30 pounds to his frame. That that's not happening. He is a Martian based off of his freakish length.
Right.
And I've seen some people suggesting that on social media today, and there's no way that even happens.
This
Like,
is the very first time I'm hearing that. And I've said it because I did watch him while he was at Texas Tech. And look, he's in the Big 12, so I was going to have to see him play every once in a while. But he was a guy that actually was going back and forth while he was at T Tech. He was playing edge. He was playing on the interior as well. So, like, I did think that the move benefited him a little bit. Again, he was not supposed to be starting. The whole situation with Chandler Jones, he was supposed to learn behind Chandler Jones, at least for that year. Chandler Jones messed that up with the mental issues, and he was thrown to the Wolves. Granted, he was also battling an injury. He didn't show up to camp until towards the tail end of the preseason. He was not ready. He was not developed, and they just threw him to the Wolves. And it was just like, once AP took over, once Patrick Graham had a full grasp of that defense, like, you were able to see a little bit of what Tyree Wilson is capable of doing, but you weren't going to get, you got a small sample size. You're going to get the real deal this coming season. Salute to Daniel Cabs Keenan. Much appreciated, bro. He gifted 5 new memberships. So salute to Space Beast, Dominique 5, Johnny Kicknuts. Who else? Did I miss anybody?
the kick nuts, that guy.
Make
Man,
sure I didn't miss. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Brave Raider, Jeffrey, Space Beast, Dominique 5, and Johnny Kicknuts. Thank you guys. And thank you, Daniel, for hooking them up. Much appreciated.
With Tyree Wilson, I talked about it the other day. I got a call from somebody that was on the staff last year that it was the Saturday of the draft. It was after the draft ended, and they had said that Adam Plant Jr., went to UNLV, local kid, was signing as an undrafted free agent. And he said, and I said, well, I told APJ he probably should have stayed in school another year just because I didn't think he was ready.
Right.
And he was improving. I just didn't think he looks like an NFL player. He just wasn't. And he said, look, between us, Wilson has to have another surgery on his foot. So we knew this going into it. We don't expect him to be ready till mid-season. So APJ is going to get a lot of run early on in camp. And hopefully if he shows something, we keep him up. Now we put him on the practice squad. So they knew immediately after the draft that he had to have another foot surgery to get either take the middle out or whatever it was, or to just clean up something.
Right.
So they didn't expect the results to start to translate till mid-season. So that's when you seen him finally get healthy. And then you seen him also, they moved him in a stand-up over, like almost like a stand-up nose tackle position, where in those types of roles, Wilson can be a freak. And that's something that could, between you put him, Wilkins, and Crosby, and then you get another, you got Kuntz on the other side. Now that's a line on third down in long or some passing situations that could create havoc.
Yep.
So you got to utilize your players, put them at their strengths. And I think that's what you've seen Graham do a lot of last year. You know what? If I'm going to get fired because everybody else is getting fired, I'm going to put people at their strengths. I'm going to play them the way I want them to play. And then that's when you see the defense turn around.
Shout out to Daniel again. He just gifted 5 more members. Richard, I Am Punchy, Small, I'm not saying the name, Redbone, and Dan. Appreciate y'all. Welcome to the family. Thank you guys for becoming members. Daniel, as always, thank you for hooking them up. Plant was playing for Hamilton Tigers this year in Canada.
And he
Wait,
better go get the quarterback. And if he doesn't, he's going to be right back here in Vegas doing security with his dad.
yeah, what up with that music? What music? What are you talking about? Salute Nation. What up, Mondo? Salute, bro. Yo, Johnny, if you're still in here, can you please put that chat that you put up before pertaining to tomorrow? I totally missed it and I wanted to highlight it, and I can't go all the way back up right now trying
Yeah,
to find it.
Johnny, I was gonna talk about that as Jeremy Chin just signed with the Commanders on a 1-year deal.
Okay.
I'm literally getting stuff as it comes in.
Damn, Bucks have 10.3 million in salary cap space entering today. Good lord. I think they're done.
Tomorrow, officially tomorrow, Hoyer and Tillery will be cut along with Jimmy G, and that's going to free up about $13.5 million of salary cap space for the Raiders.
There you go. Juice, what's good, man? Yeah, neither one of them are coming here, Rudy. Neither one of them are coming here. Absolutely not. Rodgers or Ayuk? No, absolutely not.
Hey, if Ayuk is available,
Here's another one that's going to be commanding a lot of money.
you know what? I don't care. I think the way his route running and the way he catches his yak, you could be in good shape with that. I'm a receiver whore. I'm be first to say it. That's just what I love receivers.
Right.
Um, I, you put those three, him, Myers, and Tay, along with Michael Mayer.
Of course, like it's going to be something special, but are you going to break the bank when you got other things you need to worry about? We still need to figure out, look,
Who
I'm
says
still
break the bank? We don't know what he's asking for.
they said something roughly around a 4-year, $96 million deal at the
No,
least.
no, no, fuck that. No.
Exactly. So no, I'm good on that. I really am. Like, I'm more concerned. I'm still kind of wrapping my head around. Yeah, we got Gardner Minshew. We have Aiden O'Connell. All right, cool. Are we moving up in this draft? And the next question is, and I said we were going to talk about this, running backs. We did re-sign Amir Abdullah over the weekend. We have Zamir White. Bolden's not there anymore. We know Jacobs is in Green Bay. I don't know what the deal is with Britton Brown or Sincere McCormick. Like, are we going to get a running back in this draft, or are they looking to potentially sign one on a 1-2 year deal, one of these remaining running backs that's out in the market right now? AJ Dillon, I think, is still available. There it is. Hold up. Johnny, thank you. Tune in tomorrow, Franchise Sports Media, for the premiere of Joe's Locker Room with Hammer. Stay tuned for time. There you guys go. If you guys aren't subscribed, what's that? What's that channel again? Let that shameless plug out.
Franchise Sports Media. Just go to YouTube, subscribe there. What do you say? Use your thumbs.
We
Smack.
break them thumbs in here. Break them
Yeah,
thumbs. We hammer that sub and we smash the bell. Hold up.
do the same thing for franchise. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and do that. We'll appreciate that. But yeah, tomorrow I think we're trying to settle on a time because we want to make sure everybody's schedules coincide. But it will be a daily show. Tomorrow's the first one, and it's gonna be we got some other guests that want to come on. I've had a couple people hit me up.
Yeah.
I've had a couple people hit me up. Scoop B, who's an NBA insider, some good friend. Scoop hit me up. You catch him in 2K. He's all over 2K. Everybody, he's got a little thing in there. He's with Bally's for a while. Guys coming down the road. Guys like Paul Gutierrez down the road will be coming on. Um, Tomorrow, Ben Albright might be coming on. So if he's a little NFL insider. He covers the Broncos. So just so you get to see what the donkeys are talking about and see kind of how fucked up their situation is. So we got a few people. Hammer's gonna be a regular. Hammer's got to open the invite. Anytime he wants to come on, he can just jump in.
Nobody wants to see me or hear from me. I keep saying it. I ain't shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Look, running back wise, I'm going to give you a name there's a couple of names, but the name I think would do. I'm going to say this. I don't get the affinity with Zeus. I think he is a backup running back. I don't get it. That's
Zamir?
just
Well, all
yeah,
right.
Zamir.
So what's crazy is when we saw him in his rookie year, I was just tremendously like, I don't want to say scared, but I was just like, this kid has no vision at all. Then all of a sudden, when he had to step up the last 4 games of the season, it was like, did they give him contacts or something? Because now he's actually doing what he should have been doing the year before. So I'm again, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little hesitant with what we have right now as it stands, as it pertains to our running back depth chart. That's why I'm like, are we gonna get one? Are we gonna sign one of these guys in free agency for a year, maybe two? Are we gonna get one in the draft, preferably fourth, maybe fifth round? We gotta wait and see. Salute to. I know I just saw it. We have a guy in here that is a Lions fan. Well, first off, welcome to the black hole. Is Amik Robertson any good? So we talked about him a little earlier, and the one thing that I had said is, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people in the chat that were watching him throughout his career with the Raiders, he's a bit inconsistent. He has a tendency to be a little handsy. He will get torched on plays. Sometimes they are broken plays, but then he has his moments where he shines. So it's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde type bit when it pertains to Amik Robertson. So yeah, good luck with that, dude. Good luck with that in Detroit. And your team, I had all the respect in the world for them because that's another one of those teams. And we were talking about these teams year in, year out that are normally the laughing stock or always have the number one, number two, number three overall pick. Dan Campbell's really turned that franchise around. Salute to Christopher Raiders on the $5 super. There are running backs in the draft we can get later. No need to pay a high price. There you go, bro.
I agree with that. I'll tell you the I'll tell you the name. I like Allen from Wisconsin, Breland Allen. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? That
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
that do you want a big you want a big back? That's the one right there. You know what I'm saying? He's a big guy now. Now if you and you team him with White, okay. I get that, but I think it's going to be a tandem this year. I don't think it's going to be one running back. I think they're going to go by running back. They're going to do running back by committee,
Right.
and I think that's the way it's going to be for them. And I'm going to tell you the name I would love. And then this is going to next year's draft.
Okay.
He's my favorite, one of my favorite college players. I call him my little cousin. So I've known him for Jaden Ott from Cal. You want to do it all back. Not only is he a 4.3, he runs with power, he runs with vision, he can catch the ball out the backfield. And if he played corner, he'd be the top corner in the country right now. And he's a running back. Jaden's a freak. Go watch the film, go look at the highlights and check the tape. Jaden Ott would be the guy that I think next year could come to the Raiders and be a difference maker on offense.
Let me see where we're at right now because I feel like I missed something that I wanted to address. Where the hell did it go? Trying to keep up with you guys in the chat, man. I love you guys. I really do. 718 asks, could we do a top 64 players available board? I will pull that up momentarily and we'll go through the list. I saw something else. Where is Grim? Grim said
Hey,
something in the chat. Here we go. He's boom or bust on any play, but he brings energy. And that's why I coined him as the Pitbull puppy. Like he definitely has that energy, but he is very up and down. And that has been the knock on him as long as he's been here. Adam, yes, Amik is now a Lion 2-year deal, 4.5 million guaranteed. NFL Network now is talking about notable teams with need a quarterback. Commanders second. These are the first round picks. Commanders second, Patriots third, Vikings 11th, Broncos 12th, and we're 13th. I'm curious to hear what they're going to say about those.
hey, did you see the in the chat? And someone said they're down for a Jair Alexander trade. That's that's
I
not
see it. I
happening.
see it. Yeah, I see
That's
it.
not that's not like
And they asked what that cost. Yeah, it's going to
the
be a
the
high draft
it, it
capital.
would be it probably multiple first round picks. I mean, look, let's take off our Madden hats and put on some real GM hats. Look at what certain teams are doing, like that team. They're going to try to win it. Their window is now. They're not giving up the best corner in football, arguably, when they just hired a DB coach that is going to curtail the defense to how the corners are. So to their strengths, which is how he plays. That's why he's not getting traded. That's why you look at it's like saying we could use a quarterback. Let's trade for Justin Herbert. Like that's not happening. So let's. This isn't Madden, or we can force or PFF mock drafting. We can force trades. Let's be real about it, okay? Like
Johnny,
what the fuck, man?
Johnny Kicknut said Joe ain't letting go of Alexander.
At all, man. That's why. Not only is that my frat brother, like nah, man. There's very few players whose jerseys I have, and he's one of them.
Adam, like I said, as it pertains to Fuller, I'm thinking 14, $15 million on average. Fitzy, Fields, there's really no. I'm not hearing anything on the Fields front right now. Joe, have you heard anything? Because I feel like it's kind of died down already, especially with a lot of these quarterbacks that have signed.
They've kicked tires. I mean, like, especially after yesterday. That's why, like, I was talking about it on the show that I do with my business partners. We were in a rehearsal prior to this, and that was one of the topics. And he had said that like I would take him, and I was like, you know, there's not a need. Like, why would you understand what happened to Justin Fields' market was the run on quarterbacks yesterday alleviated it. There is no market. The Bears are in no position to hold anything over anybody's head. The Bears are in a position where, damn, we can take what we can get now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to be stuck with him for a year where how does that look for Eberflus and Poles? They're sitting there with this is the guy that's our franchise. He's him. He's the quarterback. And yet they draft Caleb Williams, and now they're both there. That's a horrible look for the organization. So if you can get him, this is if you can get him for what you got, what Mac Jones got traded for.
Mac Jones, a 6.
Who? You know
Mac
what I'm saying?
Jones,
Like,
a 6.
what's the phone number?
A
That's
six,
the
a
question.
6 pick for to Jacksonville. So
Yeah, like if you can
that's
get
the
him for,
thing. You see something like that, and that's kind of where you're thinking that's where it's going to go. Realistically, right now, from what we've seen these first 2 days, a position that I have said time and time again that it's been a depreciated position that I couldn't see people spending excesses of 12 million plus on certain players or this position is a running back position. These guys have been flying off the shelves in the first 2 days, and you don't really realize how many of these teams needed a running back until you saw these moves that happened yesterday. DeAndre Swift, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, all off the board real quick. And I'm just like, holy shit, you did not realize how many teams were that desperate for a running back the way that some of these guys were yesterday. Shout out to John James in the chat. Do we double dip at defensive tackle in free agency? The only way I would double dip is if I'm getting a defensive tackle in a ballpark range on an average annual of 12 to 15 million a year. I'm not going any higher than that for another one.
And I'll say this too, back to running backs and quarterbacks. My nephew played at Washington State, and he played with Gardner Minshew. So during the show yesterday, I texted him. I think I said it. I'm gonna text him when I played with him and get some information. And my nephew, we got on the phone after the show and we talked for about a couple hours. And he was like, Unc, I'm gonna tell you, Gardner is high energy all the time. It's not fake. He's not arrogant. He's a team guy. He just cares about winning. He's going to do whatever it takes. And if he sees someone's down, he's going to go get them up. He goes, there's times when we were at practice and it's like, fuck, I don't want to be here. And then he turns around and Gardner comes around you. Next thing you know, you're at practice. You're on 10. So I tend to think that that's the direction they want to go. With Fields, you don't hear that. You don't hear teammates banging on the table saying he's a good teammate. You don't hear them saying he's the first guy in, last guy out. You don't hear them saying he's putting in the extra time in the meeting rooms and watching film. You don't hear them saying that he's getting everybody going for practice. You don't see it with his body language. How many times does he look like a petulant child stomping off the field on third down because they didn't pick up a first down or whatever, versus getting to the sideline, regrouping, and being composed? There's all these things come into play. This isn't fantasy football where you get points because Justin Fields runs for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns, but they lose. This is real football where it's wins and losses. Justin Fields does not win in the NFL. He hasn't won. And until he becomes a better quarterback, which will come from learning, he is not going to win. So the NFL evaluators all see it. The
For
Bears,
those that
the
don't know, as a starter in the league, Justin Fields is 10-28.
look at it, compare his number to Mac Jones. Other than the rushing, they're very similar,
Yeah.
identical almost.
Somebody
So
said Fields equals love.
Jordan Love's first year starting was a record years for any starting Chicago Bear quarterback in their franchise history. Jordan Love is about to get $50 million a year on a $200+ million deal in May when they're able to do that with him. Jordan Love is
Cowtown said Justin Fields' comp is Marcus Mariota, and Marcus Mariota signed with Washington Commanders on a 1-year, $6 million deal earlier today. I just saw
that's a
somebody
great comp.
I just saw somebody in the chat. 3. Dave. I don't know if it's your first time in here. We got a phone line that we let you guys call in and sound off, and you guys can ask your questions. So, how about we do that for a little bit? We'll do it for a few minutes. We'll take a few calls. And I think Johnny asked for a mock draft. I think we can mess around and do a mock draft right now as well. What do you say?
I'm down.
All right. Let me switch plugs real quick, and we'll open up the vault line for you guys. You guys can call in and sound off. Give me 1 second.
And I'm gonna go ahead in the chat put the franchise handle in there. So go ahead and follow right there at Franchise Sports Media. Follow us on YouTube. Like, join, subscribe, get notification, whatever. And we will. One of the things that we actually plan on doing down the road is probably next month is for everybody that becomes a member doing a special show for members only where we have a special guest where when basically it doesn't get shown anywhere till a few days later and kind of like it's almost like Vegas. What happens there stays there.
All right, guys. So here we go. I'm gonna put it on the screen for you guys to see. And we have 429 in the chat. Those that are new in here, do not let it be your last time. You guys see it in the top right corner. We are at 8862. We're getting closer and closer to 9K. Break them thumbs, hammer that sub, smash the bell. Let's do it, y'all. Run it up, run it up, run it up. And here we go. The SeatGeek Vault line. There it is. 347-471-0361. Call in, sound off on today's topics. We've been talking about free agency. We've talked about our Raiders. Trent Sieg, now a Dallas Cowboy. Amik Robertson is now a Detroit Lion. We talked about the move. Christian Wilkins signed yesterday. What did I miss? And Gardner Minshew, Uncle Rico himself, a 2-year, $25 million deal with $15 million guaranteed. Shout out to Q on the $10 super. Let me take that off this for a second. Salute, soldier, but it is a Chicago thing. You have to go back to Sid Luckman to find a Pro Bowler. Ooh.
That's true. Well, Pro Bowler, I think I didn't. What's his name? Cutler make a Pro Bowl.
Did he make one as a Bear?
I don't know. That's the question. I know him. I think McMahon did. Maybe.
That was
I
a
think.
long ass time ago.
But I do think it is a Chicago thing. I do think that organization has been poorly ran for ever.
Guys, I'm putting it back on the screen. My fault. 347-471-0361. If you guys want to call in and sound off, we'll take a few calls for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to do a mock draft just because Johnny Kicknuts asked for one, so we might as well mess around and do a mock draft as we still sit here waiting to see if any other news breaks. NFL Network isn't really showing anything right now. Let me see.
I'd cautious that Devin White. I'd be very cautious with that.
We've talked about that, and I've said no. I said that's a hard pass. The Vikings are re-signing Brandon Powell. Commanders are signing Jeremy Chin, which you mentioned before, and we got our first caller. Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from? And they hung up. Okay. Moving on.
Damn. All right.
We got one in Portland now. Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Andy?
What's going on, man?
Listen, man, you know, I've been a fan of the Raiders a long time, all right? And I know people say, oh, you get negative about them, but, you know, sometimes we can. I've always been positive. I've always gone with the flow, but I'm sorry that this crap with this quarterback, you know, we drafted the kid last year, and, you know, he did pretty good. You know, no complaints here and there, all, you know, but I don't understand why we're signing a backup. I mean, I don't like the guy. I never have. It's my personal opinion. I think the Raiders are going backwards. Okay, and I say this is because, like, I get Antonio Pierce wants to bring, that New York mentality stuff to, winning and having dogs, but I'm sorry, we're not going nowhere in the next 5 years with cheap quarterbacks. I'm sorry. This team had a chance several times to get somebody, and they chose not to. And obviously, we know why, because that was under the McBum era, okay, and Ziegler. But it just frustrates me, Hammer. I'm sorry, but you know what? People can say whatever they want. I don't like this. I think it's garbage. I think the front office is obviously got to give it a chance, but you got a guy yesterday, which is great. Wilkins is awesome, man. Like, I'm happy. But why are we signing Gardner? He's garbage.
So
I don't care if he was only one game. Why?
I'm looking at it from this standpoint, and I definitely appreciate the call as well.
Thanks, man.
I'm looking at it from the standpoint that they're still looking to try to get their quarterback of the future through this draft. Now, yes, it's probably going to create competition. I think that competition will be for the backup position. And maybe they feel, and this isn't just AP, but maybe the front office, maybe the offensive coaching staff right now feels that, and I said this before when it was, we're starting him the rest of the season. He was never developed in the first place the correct way under McDaniels. And you had him sitting as the emergency backup the first couple of games of the season, and then McDaniels' arrogant ass, just to prove my point, Garoppolo's out, he's going to start. You threw him to the Wolves and watched him get knocked the fuck around by the Los Angeles Chargers. I think as it stands right now that they're going to get their quarterback of the future in this draft. I think that you're going to see a QB competition for the backup spot between O'Connell and Minshew, just as a thing to help develop Aiden O'Connell. Again, he's going to be here for another 3 years, a little over $1 million on average. It's not a bad deal. A fourth round draft pick. It's nothing to worry about. It's not, oh, we need to get rid of him. He's ass. Like, let's clear the books. No, give it some time. In the words of Aaron Rodgers, RELAX. Relax.
What has Aiden O'Connell done besides look good in preseason and look like an average NFL quarterback, to have the type of backing and leeway that he has with some people? I don't understand it. If you think he's the future, then you are content with mediocrity. They need a franchise quarterback, and right now he is not on the roster. He's not currently on the roster. You can like him personally, and he can be a great guy. You know what? He can be, as far as I'm concerned, join Chase Daniel and the rest of the guys in the Sports Business Hall of Fame, where he can make as much money as he can as being a career backup, because that's what he is. He'll be a very good backup, or he'll be a guy that can put in for a game or two, but you can't roll him out there for 17 weeks and expect to win a lot of ball games. The processor is not there.
We got a call from the Southeast. Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, I'm Jim. I'm calling from Florida.
How you doing, Jim?
Hey, good. Hey, I'm a 57-year Raider fan, and I'm calling in regard to the quarterback situation.
Okay.
I've watched Gardner Minshew all the way through Washington State, through Jacksonville, Philadelphia, Indianapolis. I'm a diehard Raider fan through and through. Aiden O'Connell is a young kid who, was drowning in his first experience. The verdict is completely out on him. However, Gardner Minshew is not only is he not the answer, what he's done is taken all the confidence and all the enthusiasm for the team and flushed it down the toilet. The Raiders are saying to the franchise, to the fans, they have no interest in winning. They're collecting money. Maybe they don't want to get a franchise quarterback because they don't want to pay him.
Don't you think
I'm so stunned.
Don't you think the right way of doing this, and I'm sorry to cut you off, don't you think the right way of doing this, and this seems to be the ongoing trend right now, that you get a rookie quarterback. You let that quarterback, especially if you get one in the first round, you let that dude develop. And you're not paying him that much until he gets fifth-year option pickup, and then you talk about extending him. So, like I said, I do think that look, this is a move that a lot of people are puzzled by. I'm still kind of trying to
$25
wrap
million
that.
to a third string quarterback.
I think he's gonna. I
Here's the
think he's gonna. I
problem.
think he's gonna be the backup. I really do think he's gonna be the
We're
backup.
focused. Hey, listen, the draft is the greatest thing in the world. I've been focused on it for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're supposedly going to be trading, or we're going to be acquiring this quarterback of our choice through the draft. Well, that's terrific. That would have been fine with whoever they draft and Aiden O'Connell sitting there. But there's probably 25 quarterbacks that could have filled the role as a third string backup to compete with Aiden O'Connell. So this was a disaster. And if this is Telesco and Getsy's way of bringing something to the Raiders, they should fire them both today. I'd cut Minshew right now and lose the $25 million. I'm irate over it.
Wow.
So this was an F-. And I liked Minshew, and I loved Mike Leach. So this has nothing to do with Minshew. It just is the wrong place and the wrong time.
I think we get through the rest of this free agency period. We get through the draft and see what we have, and then we most definitely during the summer, whether it being training camp or the preseason, I definitely want you to call back and we will revisit this once we kind of get an idea of what our 53-man roster is going to be.
Can you imagine Gardner Minshew starting a game for the Raiders? And by the way, you know what's going to happen? Devontae Adams is going to leave because of this nonsense.
He's
Thanks
not
for
going
taking my
anywhere. No problem. Have a great day.
I can assure you that Tay is involved in every decision that's being made. He's given a okay or nah. I could assure you that. That's one of the reasons why the whole New York thing, like the New York, that wasn't going to happen.
Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, this is James calling from Jax, Florida. I'm just calling in regards to like what we're this this off season so far. I actually enjoy what we're doing so far. Obviously, we got the defensive tackle from the Dolphins.
Right.
He's a stud. Defense could be. I have full confidence the defense could be great. The Gardner Minshew, I'm not really too upset with him picking him. As for, I mean, when it comes to the QB situation, I feel like we have plenty of options. I mean, we can trade up, fuck all them picks, and just trade and try to get Jaden Daniels. I don't know. I think we can do that. We could stay put and stick with a quarterback. I don't know who we're like really interested in, but we can always get a quarterback in like round 2 or 3, maybe that Rattler. Seems to be...
Nah, I don't want Rattler, bro. Stop. I don't want Rattler. Fuck no. Absolutely not. No.
But we can always trade down if we obviously if we want to get, like, I guess for Penix, I guess the ideal spot would probably be the second round for him due to his injury history. But
his medicals came back all clean though. At the combine, his medicals all came back clean, man.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Out of all the quarterback options in the draft, when it comes to just pure passer, he's probably my favorite out of everybody. So even if we were to pick him up in the first round at 13, I'd be fine with it.
Right.
I have no issue with that. I'm just kind of like, if we were to go offensive line, which I don't know, it seems like that's kind of like where we're leaning towards, possibly, potentially. I'm fine with that too. I have every confidence with the front office and what they're gonna try to get. Like I said, no matter what we do, I have full confidence in what they're gonna do for the draft.
Absolutely.
I have no. I'm just kind of curious with y'all's opinion. Like, what is the ideal? What do y'all think is the ideal? What we do for the draft?
I think the ideal right now for the draft, we still need to address the offensive line, and we do have to get a quarterback. I'm hoping, I'm praying, because we have a lot of teams in front of us that are looking to get one of these quarterbacks, that we trade up. Even if we trade up inside the top 5, which I can't even say 5 because I really don't feel that the Chargers are going to want to do any business with us for that pick.
Yeah, no.
6 maybe with the Giants. And you know what? And now that I'm thinking about it, because of this trade that just happened for Brian Burns and New York Football Giants, they do not have a second round pick in this draft. So right away, let's package our 13th overall. We package that second round pick this year. Next year's one and 2026 one for that 6 overall, and we can get our quarterback. I'm here for it.
Okay.
That wouldn't be bad.
For that, now for that quarterback, do you think that there's a possibility that Jaden might slip to that position?
No.
Okay.
Jaden's going top 3. The worst Jay slides is 3. And I want to say this for the record, and I don't know where it came from. Has Jay went on record and say, I only want to play for the Raiders?
I've never I've seen the articles, but I've never heard it.
So.
I don't believe it though.
That's what I'm saying. So like everybody just assumes that there's an infinity between the Raiders and Jaden because Jay and Antonio are close, and that goes back to high school when he was recruiting him to Arizona State. So yeah, there's that infatuation, but to say that that's their guy, I can tell you right now, the quarterback number 1 on everybody's board is Caleb Williams. And then there is a gap. And then it's pick your flavor between Jay, May, Penix, McCarthy, Nix, and you can go on from there. Pratt, Travis, but I just think that people are making the assumption that Jay is like, because he knows Antonio and he's the guy. Like, if the Raiders have number 1 pick, they're not taking Jaden Williams. They're taking Jaden Daniels. They're taking Caleb Williams.
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember this right now. What did the Giants trade for Burns? Was it a 2nd and a 5th?
Yeah, and this 2 years ago they passed up on 2 1s for him.
So they don't. Yeah, because somebody in the chat just said they have the 2nd. No, they don't have that 2nd. It was a 2nd and a 5th that they traded. So yeah, I think right now we try to trade at 6. And if it's not Jaden Daniels, it's JJ McCarthy. You could sign me up for either one of those guys right now. Absolutely. Definitely appreciate the call, bro.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Take care. Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Raider Godzilla from Merced, California.
What's going on, bro?
I just want to say, man, everybody getting hyped up about player stuff. Remember, not everybody can play for the Raiders. There's only certain guys that can play for the Raiders. Don't think of the name, think of the person. That's all I have to say.
All right. Appreciate it, bro.
Respect that.
Legendary Gaming said Raiders clearly take JD over K. Yeah, of course. I think we're all on the same page with that.
No, you think the Raiders take Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams?
Yes, I do.
I can tell you right now, talking to people that I know that's in that building, that is not the case.
Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Hammers, your boy Chris for Raiders.
What's going on, man? How are you?
And what's wrong with these callers, man? Do they understand the business of football? The Raiders think of Minshew because he won games. He's a veteran. He can help out AOC.
You're talking about Minshew?
And then when they do draft, Minshew. Yeah.
Okay.
They're going to draft a quarterback. Who we don't know.
Right.
But, the guy's a proven winner. The guy has a chip on his shoulder. He's the last guy to beat us in Oakland. He beat us again this year.
Yeah, there's a guy in the chat that is saying it. Like, Minshew has defeated the Ravens, the Texans, the Bucks, the Steelers, the Raiders last season, and lost to the Browns by 1 point. Like, he's got a track record, man. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this, but it's like he can lead a team. Like, Anthony Richardson went down with that season-ending shoulder injury last season, and Minshew stepped up. Like, fucking beat us in a game that mattered. Like, a game that we needed to have at a shot for a wild card, and Minshew beat us. So
that was the best thing that could happen to the Colts, too.
The Raiders never said he's going to be the starting quarterback. It's also number 1.
Correct.
AOC is number 1 because he's the only one quarterback on the team.
Right.
You got to beat him out. So that gives AOC some competition. They got a new quarterback, a rookie. Minshew, AOC can help train him or develop him, whatever you want to call it.
I feel
But this
the
guy,
exact
y'all
same
think
way.
that is Minshew.
I feel the
Well,
exact
you
same
said
way.
about
Like, we
offense.
did need a veteran quarterback. We needed a veteran quarterback that could actually win games. So maybe that's the reason they kind of balked on the thought of trying to trade for Justin Fields. 61.4 completion percentage, 247.6 yards total yards per game last year. Those are his career highs. But again, as a starting quarterback, he's 10-28.
But what are we going to do? Go pay Cousins $80 million, $100 million a year? No.
I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that
do that.
chance. And that's the one thing I've stated before. Like, look, he's getting, I think, a little over 2.3, if I remember correctly, this season. And the 5th-year option is going to be close to $23 million. Are you really going to take that chance?
No. We get a good quarterback that beat us twice. He went to a Pro Bowl. And then, like, okay, we got a bet in the building now. That's all I'm saying. Hammer, always good to talk to you.
Appreciate it, man.
I'll talk to you later.
Take care. Yeah, we did kind of get shafted here and there towards the tail end of that game. Jack Jones was most definitely not offsides on that. It is what it is, man. I've said this time and time again. We will forever be public enemy number one. The referee's book and the guidelines for the commissioner's book. Page 1, fuck the Raiders. Last page, see page 1. So, please,
not anymore. Look, not anymore. The officiating last year was horrendous across the board in the NFL. But I will say that since Mark took the team over, I'm gonna go back to when the day Al Davis died. That offseason, Mark paid off the debt that the Raiders owed the NFL financially, which was, I believe, $15 million, something like that. Then, with what he did with the move to Vegas and the relocation and everything, the Raiders are in the good graces of the league because of Mark Davis and what Mark has done. Mark's on a bunch of committees now. He actually fronts a couple of them as the chairperson. The Raiders, it's not like it used to be. Now, that was an egregious offsides on Jack Jones, 100%. But it's not like it was in the 70s and 80s when Pete Rozelle was the commissioner and they're doing that. I'm sorry. Like, I don't believe that.
Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Flash from DC, man.
What's going on, bro? Sound off.
What's going on, man? So, look, man, for the people that's out there, crying and screaming about Minshew, man, like, just because he starts a game doesn't mean he's the starting quarterback. Like, you would much rather have that guy than Brian Hoyer. You know what I'm saying? In case our main guy goes out. But I say this as far as Jaden Daniels, when you said we'll take JD over Caleb, right? I'm with you 100% on that. Like, if you're looking at between these guys at the top, who is the guy that I would say fits the team of what we want moving forward for the future, like taking with the ups and downs and everything? I'm taking J5. I'm doing whatever it takes to get up there in that range, with them guys. I was trying to look and see who's at the 2 spot because I think, to me, he's the one I like the best.
So Washington has a 2 right now, and a lot of the original mock drafts had Drake May going to Washington, but a lot of things have changed over the last couple of weeks, and it's like all of a sudden Jaden Daniels' stock has just gone up tremendously to the point where they're looking at him as the number 2. And I've talked about Drake May because there really hasn't been much to talk about Drake May because I have not heard anything pertaining to Drake May and this draft class. So I kind of feel like Drake is probably dropped to the number 3 prospect. And this is where I'm like, yeah, we do need to try to fight to try to get that 2 spot, but I'm curious. I'm a little curious to see what it is that Washington is looking to get for it, if they're even looking to deal at all for that number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, it's looking good next year, man. And good to be on here with y'all.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man. I could see Washington actually moving up to the 1 spot to be honest. Washington move up to the 1, the Bears move back, and then the Bears make another deal so somebody could get to 2. If they really wanted to solidify their team and add multiple picks, but I mean, I think Washington desperately wants Caleb Williams to bring their native son home.
Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Hammer King Wrecker?
What's up, bro?
How you doing, man? What you think, man? What you think? You think we're gonna try to get another running back?
We talked about it a little bit earlier, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these running backs are already gone. There are still a few left, like including AJ Dillon. I think that they're going to end up going the route and getting a running back in the draft, whether it be in the 4th, 5th round. It's not going to be one early because we really do need to focus on the task at hand, which is a quarterback and bolstering up that offensive line.
Yeah, that's true. You think we're gonna get maybe also some more offense by the end of the free agency?
What would you want right now? Like I said, I think realistically, we've talked about this. Like, the top priority as it stands has been the offensive and defensive line. Illuminor is gone. He went to the Giants. Yeah. I think that's going to put, if everything goes right, and this guy has been on the heels of Illuminor for the last 2 years, I think Mumford might be that guy that's going to be the right tackle, but we still need to worry about who our right guard's going to be because we know that the last 2 years have just been hell. You had Van Roten this past year, who really was not that great, and now it's slipping my mind who the right guard was the year before. That's how bad he was.
Damn. All right, man. Well, thanks for all your guys' input, man. You guys are awesome. I love listening to you guys, and more best to our team to get some more good players over there.
Appreciate you, man.
So I want to point this out. So everybody that was we're talking about
bars.
Linebacker.
There it is, bars. Thank you, guys.
Linebacker at some point. Patrick Queen's deal with the Steelers, 3 years, $41 million. He got $13.84 million. His total for the 24 season is fully guaranteed. 13.83 in 25, 13.33 in 26. March roster bonuses for 6.67, 2.5 in 25, 26. So it's very much a year-to-year deal after this year.
Let me get this going. Do we want to do this with your Packers as well?
Yeah, I mean, no, we can just do your. Is it just a Raiders mock or is it a first round mock? How are we doing it?
We can do all 7 rounds with the Raiders, but like I said, if we want to,
we don't need to do the Packers. We're talking about the nation.
Let me see if I'm missing anybody in the chat. I don't think I am at the moment. Shout out to the 443 in the chat. Let me put this on Do Not Disturb for a little bit, and we will try to take some calls before we end the show. We've already been on about an hour and a half, almost an hour and a half, actually. So for those that are in here, especially the first timers, again, you see where we're at. We're like 30 away from 8,900, which puts us at 130 from 9K. Ooh, that's not good. My fault, guys. Break them thumbs, hammer that sub, smash the bell. Yeah, let's get this going if I can. How do I do this? Well, this is going to be tricky. Hold up.
Here you go.
Yeah, always doing wild shit.
Just make sure it's the right screen you're pulling up, not the private one.
Oh no, never. Here we go. Perfect. This is perfect. If I can get that other part off, there we go. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know you guys probably aren't going to see it all that great, but let's just try to get through this real quick together. So, are we trading? Are we not trading? What do you guys want to do? I'm checking you guys out in the chat. Shout out to Victor. Thank you for becoming a new subscriber. Let me take that off the screen as well. Y'all want to go straight up? Do you want us to trade up? No trades? All right, no trades. One person had to say it, and we're good. All right.
Excuse me. There's trades is coming up more than anything right now. There's 2 trades to 1 no trade.
Yeah, the first one I saw said no trade, so we'll do it straight up, and let's see.
All right.
So Drake May went first overall to Chicago. Caleb Williams went second. Malik Neighbors went third. Marvin Harrison Jr. 4. The Giants took Quinyon Mitchell. The Broncos took Rome Odunze. So you know where we're going here. We're taking our quarterback, Jaden Daniels, with the 13th overall pick.
Take him. That's a no-brainer.
So now the best available, you got Ennis Rakestraw, the corner out of Missouri. You got Braden Fisk, the defensive interior lineman from Florida State. Chop Robinson, I'm not going for an edge rusher. Kamari Lassiter. Roman Wilson, receiver out of Michigan. Do I go an offensive lineman here, or do I stay with the defense and bolster up the interior?
Well, what lineman's available?
Fisk is there. Offensive lineman, there's no best available at the top of this list. You got Kieran out of Yale. I don't want to butcher his name, so I'm just going to say Kieran. The offensive tackle out of Yale. All right, you guys are all saying O-line, so let's do... Hold on.
It was the Oregon. I want to say he's a center.
He's already gone.
Johnson.
He's already gone. He's gonna be gone in the first round. Jackson Powers Johnson. He went to Miami 21st overall.
I'll say, hey, because they had Jay slide to 13. So I mean, yeah, you know what? I think here, if you can get your offensive lineman, you get them, since you can come back and get your corner in round 3.
Let me take a look real quick, because people in the chat are saying interior, D-line, or DB. You can get linemen later in the draft. All right, you know what? I'm a man of the people. We're going to take Fisk, the defensive tackle out of Florida State. So we got a quarterback. We got a D tackle. You got Brendan Rice there in the 3rd round. A lot of people had been talking about him. You got Jeremiah Trotter Jr. at linebacker. Cedric well, we have a center now because Andre James is back, so that's a guy I'm not concerned about. Blake Corum is there in the 3rd round. Like I said, I'll go 4th or 5th round on a running back. Trotter. Cooper Beebe. Corum. DB.
Trotter would be nice. He's got bloodlines. You know what you get if he's like his pops at all.
I'm just looking through what these guys are saying right now. Rice isn't worth the 3rd. Okay. All right, right tackle out of Notre Dame, Fisher. Is he here? Let me go to the offensive line. He's not there. He might be off the board already, so no. Let's go back to best available. Dude, you gotta calm down.
Who?
No, one of the guys in the chat is like spamming right now. Let me see. I'm gonna go with.
Hey, you want a running back? Jalen Wright. You want a home run hitter?
Out of Tennessee?
Yep.
But it's still too early. Fuck it. Take a running back here. Cooper Beebe, right guard. There we go. We got Cooper Beebe in the 4th. There is a tackle in Roger Rosengarten. You have Theo Johnson at tight end. I can get a tight end later. I didn't take Trotter before, did I?
I don't think so. I think you went.
No, I took Jalen Wright. So I'll take Michael Barrett. Still got 3 picks left. Julian Pearl. I'm like really sitting here looking at this and I'm like, is this going to be a solid draft class? We got Michael Barrett. Who do we get before that? Cooper Beebe. Jalen Wright. We got Braden Fisk. And we got Jaden Daniels. Jalen Ford is not it. Jalen Ford's like a late late pick. I'm gonna go Julian Pearl, the tackle out of Illinois. Jordan Whittington. I don't
Now
even
go,
think we have about. Go, what were you gonna say?
go. I say go with Pearl.
Yeah, I took him. I don't think I took a corner in this draft class, so I'm gonna have to just go off the rip with these last two picks. Trent Jones. Or do I get? I'll take a safety late in trade. No.
Here's some news: Levante David resigns with the Bucks 1 year, up to 10 million. Face value's about 9.
Shit. Fuck it. Let's see what this looks like. All right. We got an A- on this. I got Jaden Daniels, A+, Braden Fisk, A-, Jalen Wright, B+, a B for Cooper Beebe, Michael Barrett, a B+, Julian Pearl, an A B+ on AJ Woods, Curtis Jacobs, a B+. Overall grade is an A-. I'll take it. I will take it. Let's stop this. Make sure I'm doing this the correct way. This is why I hate this shit. Why are you small now? Hold up.
That's hilarious.
There we go. That was a very interesting mock. Let me see what people say in the chat. Yeah, you're done, dude. Where is it?
What's he spamming?
He's putting phone number. Like, dude, stop.
You got that much to say?
And I thought I had Yo, this chat is moving now because of like that draft. All of a sudden I'm looking back and it is going crazy. People saying good mock. I think it's about 17 million, but this is before Jimmy's release and any restructured we might do. What alternate universe is Daniels available at 13? I don't know, but the other teams in front of us that we thought were going to take quarterbacks did not. Thank you, Huggies.
I mean, like you never know what happens with the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's why I personally I don't think that there's like nobody knows. Like the Bears could want a Herschel Walker trade type ransom, but they may actually be playing their cards right and just saying, you know what, like we're going to try to get the most that we can, and someone's going to be desperate enough to trade up.
I'd much rather be willing right now to see if these guys make a proposal to any of these top 2, top 3 teams, because I'm telling you, the closer we get to the draft, the higher the ransom is going to be. And that's my number one concern right now as it pertains to us trying to move up.
Yeah, but I want to caution this too. Like I ask when I talk to the people within the organization, and I talk to the agents and other teams that I know I have friends in that I've known a long time.
Right.
That hey, like were there any talks? And some of them will give me specifics, like yeah, like they offered XYZ. Other ones say yeah, there was talks, but it just didn't go anywhere. So like first, if someone were to say they definitively know what the trade talk was, and they're not Schefter or Ian Rappaport, Mike Garafolo, Tom Pelissaro, or Glazer, or Josina, for that matter.
Yeah.
Or even Jordan Schultz. Like, I think I take it with a grain of salt, because unless you're sitting in those meetings or you're like, for me, I know one of my closest friends works in the front office for a team. I can call him. He'll tell me directly, like, hey, this is what it is.
Right.
But then there's people that I have relationships with that are friendly. They're not going to tell me anything like that. So just take it with a grain of salt. No one knows for sure. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm just saying in general, because we don't know what someone's looking for to move up. We don't know that the Patriots are going to take a quarterback. We assume they are, but they may want McCarthy, and they may want to deal back, or they may want Penix because of his arm strength and want to move back. You're going to have officials for teams at every pro day. So just because you see the Raiders in Oregon doesn't mean they're looking at Bo Nix. They could be looking at the center. They could be looking at the Bucky, the corner. It just, or the receiver. It just depends on, just they're getting their evaluations. They're doing their due diligence. And it's as fun as it is. I mean, everybody falls in love with players. Like I'm going to be honest, like I could tell everybody in here right now, Jaden Daniel, I could call Jaden right now and be, Jay, what's happening? What's going on with you? I've known Jay since he was 12 years old. I don't have a man crush on him. I'm looking at this thing objectively. With Caleb Williams, I can reach out to Caleb and have a conversation with his people and to get at Caleb. That is just what I do for a living. So I'm not being biased at by any means. I'm just looking at straight numbers. There are questions about every quarterback in this class. With Caleb, they talk about he seems nonchalant. They see he seems aloof, and on the field he picked up some bad habits last year that are very correctable. But no one's ever questioned if he can read a defense. No one's ever questioned the arm strength or accuracy or the athleticism or the leadership where his teammates love him. So a lot of that is because media doesn't take the time to get to know him. And the teams are just getting to that point. With Jaden, I've had teams ask me and bring it up to me. They question if he can read a defense. Joe, you know him? Yeah, I know. I've known him for a long time. Can he read? Yeah, as far as I know, he can. But there's question about his weight and can he take a pounding? There's question if Drake May can read a defense and his arm strength and whether or not he could throw guys open and whether he's a guy they feel needs to sit for a couple of years. They question things about Penix and Nix and across the board. I'm not hating on anybody. I don't think anybody, but this is what you have to objectively look at. So when I say, where does it come from that the Raiders have to take Jaden? Yeah, Jaden was in the locker room. I was in the locker room when he was in the locker room. I'm a reporter. That's what I do for a living. I'll go show you. I'll go grab my credential and hang it in front of you guys to show you that I have locker room access. It's just part of my job. Yeah, I know Jay was in there. Just because Jay's in there Jay's friends with Antonio. He has a relationship. So, and with that, I think there is some hesitation because of how close that relationship is. Because if you're only playing for that one coach, are you really playing for the organization or are you just playing for him? There are those questions that need to be answered. And when they've met and they have met and spoke, those questions were asked and answered. But the Raiders aren't going to show their hand. So for everybody just to assume that, oh, they want Jaden Daniels. Oh, yeah, because they're pause on that for real. Like take your hat, and I know it's hard when you root for a team so hard because I do the same thing at times, but I got teams calling me about players. I had a team call me about a running back from BYU that went to UNLV. I got teams calling me about current players at UNLV when they come out next year and former players. They're doing their homework. So let them do their homework and wait and see how this shit plays out.
Damn. We have been on for an hour and a half. I'm going to wrap it up because this was definitely another great show. Back-to-back days. Joe, you and I are going to talk about tomorrow in regards to a time for the show. But I appreciate the still almost 400 that we still have in here. On your way out, guys, please do these 3 simple things, especially the newcomers. We are 26 away from 8,900, 126 from 9K. Break them thumbs, hammer that sub, smash the bell to stay up to date with all your Raiders news, rumors, updates, live streams, and reactions in the house of Hammer built by the nation for the nation, Raider Nation News Today. Joe, let them know one last time where they can find you.
At Franchise Sports Media on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button for that. On all social media, at Joe Arrigo FSM and at the Franchise LV on all social media.
Boys and girls, continue to stay safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. COVID is back and on the rise. Remember to wash your hands and your asses. And as always, win, lose, or tie, Raider Nation till I die. Till next time, y'all. Peace, love, and positivity. I'm outro.
Yeah.